Mr. Weldon, thank you so much for joining us.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. Well, I came to say thank you to all of you for the tireless efforts you've put forward since 2001 to get the facts together for this country to wake up. My work with 9/11 began in 1993. You see, that's when I got this jersey, not in 2001. In 1993, Fire Commissioner Howard Safir invited me, as a former fire chief and member of Congress, to come up and visit the Trade Center and learn about the attack. I spent the day at Ground Zero, down in the garage with ATF and the FBI, and I met a young fire officer there who became one of my best friends, Ray Downey. Ray took me through the garage. He showed me what happened. I learned from Ray. Ray was a former Marine, 5 kids. I listened to what Ray said. I went back to Washington that night. It was late. I got back about 10 o'clock, and I did a special order, which, as you know, was on C-SPAN. And about 11 o'clock at night, after the special order, my phone rang in the office, and I picked it up. And the guy on the other line said, "Is this Congressman Curt Weldon?" And I said, "Yes." And he said, "This is Mario Cuomo." And I said, "Yeah, and I'm Howdy Doody." He said, "Congressman, this is Mario Cuomo. I'm sitting in my office in Albany, and I watched your speech. And I want to thank you. We're spending the day at Ground Zero with our fire department when they were undergoing tremendous pressure to deal with the attack on the Trade Center. And I said, Governor, you have my support. We'll do everything to help your fire department, and I'll listen to Ray Downey." And I did. I wrote the legislation for the Gilmore Commission. Ray was on the Gilmore Commission. So was Bill Genoway, fire chief from King of Prussia from my district. That commission issued 5 reports before 9/11, 5 reports about what to do. One of those reports dealt with intelligence. I happen to also be on the Armed Services Committee and the vice chairman of the oversight of all of our spending for the Defense Department, and the chairman of the subcommittee overseeing all military intelligence and research, $180 billion a year under my control. And that's when I learned about Able Danger. And that's when I learned about this top secret team over at Fort Belvoir that was doing cutting edge work that I briefed Ray Downey about. And Ray said to me, "We need that, Congressman." 2 years before 9/11, not after, 2 years before 9/11. On November the 4th of 1999 in my office, I had Deputy Secretary of Defense John Hamre, the Deputy Director of the FBI, and the Deputy Director of the CIA in my office. And I handed them a proposal to create the NOAA, the Fusion Center. Hamre said, "I need it. The country needs it. I'll manage it." I said, "I'll get it funded." The FBI said, "We support it." And the CIA said, "We don't want it, and we're not going to support it." I put language in 2 successive defense bills. Now remember, all of this is before 9/11, not after. Not after. We can criticize after all we want. We need to understand before 9/11 what happened. When 9/11 happened, you're going to hear tonight from firsthand account of Lieutenant Colonel Anthony Schaefer, who represents 4 intelligence officers, my friends, who are all talking publicly now. They're not making up stories. They're talking about their jobs. And like me, they'll take polygraphs. We understand your message. When I decided to go public back in January of this year, when Donald Trump took away the security clearances of the 51 that had hurt my family, my daughter and my other children, I said, now I'll talk. I've done 13 podcasts with 20 million views. And I talked to your people, led by Richard and your teams, and I said, now it's time to broaden your base. You cannot win this battle by logic. It doesn't work. Yeah, you can stand here and argue about the physics of building. That's not going to make it happen. Example, my first term in office, the Speaker's office catches on fire. 2 doors from me, I'm a firefighter. I go down, kick the door open, crawl in to make sure the staff was out while my staff's calling the alarm in. The entire suite burned in the Longworth building. Go down and look at it. No sprinklers, no detectors. no alarm system, a violation of the Life Safety Code 101, which I knew inside now because, you see, I'm a firefighter. I was a fire chief. And for 18 years, I ran the program for the largest insurance company in North America on training people that inspect buildings. That was my job. And I knew that building was a fire trap. Now, you expect those people in Congress, those 540, to work off of logic when they were working in buildings that were fire traps. It ain't going to happen, folks. It ain't going to happen. So, my point in coming tonight, and I'm going to give you some more in-depth comments in a moment, is to broaden your base. And I brought some people with me to help you. You're the leaders, to help you. You met one of them last night, Ron Johnson. He called me on Easter Sunday. I didn't call him. He called me at my home. He said, can I meet with you? I met with him. I met with Ron 5 times now. I briefed him. I introduced him. Ted's doing a great job as your coordinator. You had him last night. He was here. I was here listening. And they met with him in the afternoon yesterday. That's very important. Tonight you're going to hear from other members of Congress from both parties. But you've got to go beyond the members of Congress, and you've got to reach out beyond just the great work of Tucker and the great work that's being done by Redacted and Clayton Morris, whose podcast I did, to the mainstream media.